Welcome to Unit 7, Lecture 2, talking about patterns of inheritance. Learning targets. Identify more complex patterns of inheritance. Understand the human ABO blood type. Understand that many traits are governed by multiple genes. And understand that sex chromosomes play a role. Okay, so there are more complex patterns of inheritance than just dominant and recessive. So Mendel's ideas just played into this single gene idea of dominant and recessive. There's also incomplete dominance, codominance, multiple alleles, polygenic, and sex-linked. And we're going to talk about all of these. Incomplete dominance, which is where they actually have a mixing of phenotypes. So this is like paint mixing. Okay. Oh, right. I have it written right there. Okay. So what happens here is we end up having three genotypes. All right. We have the homozygous dominant, we have the heterozygous, and we have the homozygous recessive. And those three genotypes actually also give us three phenotypes. So we've got red. So the homozygous dominant gives us red. The heterozygous gives us pink. All right. And the homozygous recessive gives us white. That heterozygous has a phenotype that's in the middle of the two other extremes. Okay, so it's like paint mixing. So in this case, the 4 o'clock flower is an example. It's just a type of flower. All right, I don't know why they named it 4 o'clock. Okay, but if we see, when we put the red and the white together, we end up getting that middle pink. Okay, and so that's incomplete dominance. Codominance, however, is a little bit different in the sense that we have we have three genotypes and three phenotypes. So we have the homozygous for R, we have the homozygous for W, and then we have the heterozygous RW. So this is a little bit different in the sense that here, instead of seeing them mixed together, and in this case we would get like a lighter color brown, we actually end up seeing both. Okay, so the cow is white with brown spots. All right, so that's actually a codominant because they are codominant. They are both dominant together. Neither one wins over the other. Okay. So this is a little bit different because it exhibits both of those phenotypes. I like to think of this like candy cane stripes. Okay, so on a candy cane, you see stripes. All right, you don't see pink, or you don't have red candy canes, white candy canes, and pink candy canes. I mean, they've created all sorts of different color flavors with candy canes. Some of them are pretty gross, but you're not in a normal candy cane, you're not seeing that. You're seeing a candy cane that has red and white stripes on it. Okay, and so cattle and horsehair and some chicken feathers and stuff like that can actually be an example of codominance because we're actually seeing both of those colors at the same time. All right. Multiple alleles. All right, this one is a little bit fun, but at the same time a little bit confusing. So instead of just having a dominant or a recessive allele, okay, or in the case of the codominance where we had the R allele and the W allele, this case we have actually three alleles. 1, 2, 3. So the A allele, the B allele, and the O allele. Now they still come together, all right, to give different in two-letter combinations, okay? But what it does is it creates more two-letter combinations. So if you think about it, before when we had three-letter or two-letter combinations, we only had 3 different combinations of those letters: homozygous dominant, heterozygous, homozygous recessive. Now we actually have 9 letter combinations, okay? Or technically 8 because AB is the same whether it's BA or AB. But here you see, all right, my number's wrong because AO and OA are the same too. But that's beside the point. So you see more combinations here, okay? And so, all right, AB blood type, or the ABO blood type, okay, depends on different numbers of alleles. And this actually creates more combinations. And you can see over here, all right, the genotype and the result in the phenotype. The blood type is actually the phenotype, the physical features. Okay. All right. And so then we also have AB, and then we've got the B's here. All right. And then O. Okay. So if you can see, we actually end up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different genotypes, okay, that result in actually 4 different phenotypes. All right. So what happens is then we can have a range of blood types. Now, the other thing about AB is also codominant. Okay. So A is dominant to O. B is dominant to O. And you can see that over here. But A and B are equal, so they're codominant. All right. So we have 3 different alleles. All right. The A, the B, and the O allele. If you use the I's, great. If you don't use the I's, I'm okay with that too. Okay. All right. So this is what they actually look. This is what the blood cells actually look like with those different genotypes. Okay. So an A blood type has these triangle proteins on it. The B blood type has these circle proteins on it. All right. And then the AB blood type has both. That's why it's codominant as well. Okay, and then the O has none. This is why getting blood transfusions, it's so important to getting the right type of blood, because otherwise your immune system will actually attack the blood, okay, as if it were an invader, as if it were a virus. These outside carbohydrates say, oh, okay, yeah, that blood belongs here. We can use that blood. Or, oh, no, that blood doesn't belong here. And then if you have your immune system basically attacking all of your blood, it doesn't end well. So that's where blood transfusions are really important to get the right kind of blood. Okay? Polygenic inheritance. So this is a little bit different. So poly means many. Genic means genes. Many genes. Okay? So in this case, you end up getting many genes that control. And this can create a huge range of phenotypes. And in fact, many of the human phenotypes, especially the physical ones, hair color, skin color, height, eye color, okay, many of our phenotypes are created by many genes. So you can see here, all right, this is a giant Punnett square, basically. Don't worry, we're not doing any giant Punnett squares. But this is a giant Punnett square, and it basically shows you on the range of how many recessive genes, how many dominant genes. So if it's all recessive, okay, that person has very, very, very light skin. All right, not albino, that's a different situation. But if it's all recessive, very light skin. If it's all dominant, okay, very dark skin, and then some combination in between. So you can see here. All right. And that's what gives us this bell curve of average, quote unquote, human skin tone or average human height. Okay. So the average human height is about, well, the average human height for males is about 5'9", or at least it was. It's been going up. But, okay, all right, so the average human height for a man is 5'9". I only know this because I'm taller than the average man. All right, sorry, I don't know what the average female height is. Okay, so there's going to be some people on the upper end of that curve, which means they're taller. And then there's going to be some people on the lower end of that curve, meaning that they're shorter. Okay, and so that's how polygenic inheritance works, is that we have multiple genes that are coming together to create this huge range of phenotypes. Last but not least is sex-linked traits. Okay, so as a human, okay, we have an X and a Y chromosome, or X or Y. Okay, if you have 2 X's, you're a female. If you have at least 1 Y, you are a male. Okay, now you could have two X's and a Y and you'd still be a male. Okay, the Y chromosome carries genes that are directly related to being male. All right, but the X chromosome contains genes of that you need. Okay, other genes that you need. That's why everybody has an X chromosome. All right, the X chromosome has genes for other traits. So one example is color blindness. All right, so color blindness or color vision is on the X chromosome. We have a dominant version, which means you can see colors. We have a recessive version, which means you can't see colors. And there are different kinds of color blindness, but okay, you can't see colors, okay, or you have different color vision. All right, so when two people are mating, they have the potential of passing those on. Now, if you're a female, you can only pass on your X chromosomes. Okay, if you're a male, however, you're going to pass on an X or a Y. All right, and anybody that gets your X is going to be a daughter. Anybody who gets the Y is going to be a son. Okay, so here, right, for color vision, okay, we have the chance, okay, to pass on color vision here, but not color vision over here or over here. Okay, so you can see here where we end up getting males get only one X. So they're stuck with whatever X, okay, they get. All right, now let me erase all these lines. It's getting a little confusing. Okay, so let's, for sake of argument, change this father to not be colorblind. Okay, so this daughter is going to be homozygous for color vision. This daughter, however, is going to be heterozygous for color vision. Okay, so even though this daughter is heterozygous, she can still see colors. So in this case, without a colorblind father, there's no possibility for having a colorblind daughter. Okay, but there's a possibility of having a colorblind son, a 25% chance possibility. Okay, if you were to take all four. All right, okay. So there's a 75% chance of having a child without color blindness, right? And a 25% chance for having a child with color blindness who can only be a son. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit more about sex-linked traits. I know that this is a little bit confusing, so hopefully we'll be able to explain it a little bit more. All right, and practice it a little bit more. Okay. I will talk to you later. Have a great day.